to you, the regular Joes.
To movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joes podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Even though last week was the 2024 wrap-up, this is the last show of the season, of the year.
Of the year,
right?
Yeah.
This released on, I don't know, December 20-something, 8th,
Right,
9th?
so it's not the last show of the season, because our annual holiday get-together will be the last show of the holiday season.
Exactly. So you got this show, you got the next show, which you will hear in January, right, will be the annual holiday get-together of gift exchange and talking to the wives. Todd always cringes when I say that. I don't know why. He didn't cringe this time. He's too busy looking on eBay. Looking for somebody.
We're not supposed to be buying ourselves anything this time of year, remember?
No, he's looking for the stuff you were talking about.
Even though we're going to do what's in the box
I can buy
later.
again on Thursday. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like what I've got later for what's in the box, I feel very safe and vindicated in buying, but we'll get to that.
Whoa.
Whoa. When did you buy it?
3 weeks ago.
That's in the window.
Maybe it was even 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and I know it's in the window.
You're on the naughty list.
I know. I'm eternally on the naughty list, Dave.
You cannot control yourself, can you?
This is well established. This is 11 years running. 20 years running. 25 years running.
I don't think I've bought anything. That's not true. I bought a lot of stuff on Amazon, but nothing.
Other than pre-orders, I have not obtained anything.
But you do know, occasionally you see something and you go, A, I know nobody would ever even know about this to buy it for me, and B, if I wait, it'll be gone. So
I'm very curious to hear what that is.
More on that later.
Exciting. Anyway, so this is our last show of 24. We're going to be talking about Superman. The Superman trailer is out. There's going to be spoilers. Sean, come back later.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. I know you said that you don't want to watch it, but we're going to talk about it. So
yeah, so sorry. And we're going to talk about others. We're going to talk about the trailer. We're going to talk about, as I think I texted, we're going to do. Did I say we're going to do a light Superman episode without a lot of heavy?
That
prep.
Didn't require we go back and rewatch every movie ever made that had Superman.
Now,
in it.
that being said, I watched 3 Superman movies while I was wrapping presents. So
which 3 did you watch?
I watched Superman the movie.
Yep.
And it's funny, the first 2 have been on over the past month or so I've caught bits and pieces, but when you're rapping and you're not paying it. So in this order, I watched Superman the movie, I watched The Man of Steel, and I watched Superman 2.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting order. Okay.
I watched...
Well, because I come on to mix them up
I watched
a
2 Superman films, and I'll tell you what they are when we get into this topic.
But you asked me to divulge mine.
One of them was the same. One of it was the same as yours. One of those is not, because I'm going to talk about that. And
we'll talk about all the
but
movies.
But I've also seen Superman 2 within the last 3 years, so that's why I didn't go. That's why I didn't go there.
Well, within the last 6 months, I saw the one Quest for Peace. Oof,
I'm sorry.
Remember, I was texting you guys. I was at work and it was on, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't! I hadn't seen it since I saw it in the theaters."
Right, let's get into all the movies when we're doing the thing, unless anyone wants to because that'll be interesting. An interesting topic about the movies and stuff. But we're going to talk about the trailer. I'm going to do not a deep dive on this hit Superman movies, but we'll get into it. But let's go some random. Barry, what do you got?
So I almost hate when I see these articles because you just don't know what's really the story. But I saw something just yesterday. Disney has revealed that the cost of making Andor has surged to $645 million.
I don't believe that.
Now, what they're counting is both seasons together, which is weird because they're saying it was $290 million for the second season. And they're comparing that to the $280 million that they spent on The Last Jedi. But The Last Jedi is a 2-hour movie, and Andor is a 12-hour series. So I would expect 12 episodes of something that costs more than a 2-hour movie.
In this day and age, no, they should be cheaper. That's why TV it should be cheaper.
Well, but it's cheaper per hour, but
and that's you're
six
exactly
times
right.
the length.
Barry, it is cheaper. It is significantly cheaper cost per minute. Okay, and this is a thing. This is one of my things too. That where they've been again back talking about the Acolyte, and that the issue for them was not feedback; it was cost. That's what Disney is now saying. And that it actually
they're saying it's a combination of cost and performance.
Right. But it's
if they're going to spend that much money, they need
it to be they need to knock it out of the park. And obviously
it almost needs to drive subscriptions too. It
right.
can't just be that everybody that
already paid
watched it.
To spent as much as they did. And that costs more than Andor did cost per minute. Okay? Because
I think those numbers sound high.
They actually break
really
it down. And again, because Andor had longer running times, and even though Andor had fewer episodes, it had longer running times, I guess. And that the one of the Acolyte episodes was in the 20-something range when you
right.
low 20s when you cut the.
But if you're Disney, you're not going to say, hey, we know we made a bad show, right? You're going to say,
I get
it was
that,
too
but
expensive, and that's why we're not renewing it.
Right, but this is the accounting angle on this, and this is where, this is what they've got to, I don't say where the rubber meets the road, but at the end of the day, they had to say, here's what we spent, and here's what we got. And, it doesn't matter what you get for letter writing campaigns, it doesn't matter for whatever. If the show doesn't have traction, and you spent an ungodly amount of money on it, you don't make a second season.
Well, and it is also interesting because in that same article that you're talking about, that executive, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I know he's one of the very senior people. I think he reports right into Iger. He was basically saying this is why we need to pivot back to theatrical releases and away from so much on streaming.
There's no money to be made.
Yeah.
The reality of even if you have a great series, 10 episodes, and it's great, and it costs $300 million, you're probably not picking up subscribers at this point.
Well, it's also interesting that they are now releasing all those streaming series on 4K Blu-ray because they're trying to find other ways of monetizing those shows. So
I don't really feel like those Andor numbers are right. There's no way they're going to spend $600 million for 16 episodes of television. It's just not.
It's 24 episodes of television, but even still,
okay. They're not. It's funny because those Lucasfilm or whoever never answers that. This isn't one of my articles, but
so that's $2.6 million. It's 2 points. Am I doing the math right? 645 million divided by 24 episodes.
30 million each.
30 million an episode. Still a lot of.
Yeah, I actually found when they broke it down to cost per minute, it made a lot more sense because these shows, the length time varies greatly, and it's actually that's the amount of time that you.
It's 30 million an episode.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But that's
most
the amount
of the
of
Andor
time.
episodes were closer to an hour, though. The Andors were longer.
They were significantly
but still.
longer.
Someone was saying that the cost of Superman was $365 million, and James Gunn immediately said that's absolutely ridiculous. he's
Well,
like,
and usually
it's-
when they talk about the budgets for theatrical releases, they add in all of the advertising for.
well, they hadn't done yet.
Yeah, that's
that
just
yet,
it.
so
That's
they,
not-
But he said it's nowhere. It's not even half that. So I don't know.
I also
There's
have
so
a
much
feeling that
bullshit.
Disney has been accused of this, and I don't know if it's true, but they've been accused of, like on The Acolyte, piling in a bunch of their other expenses and things that they spent into that budget. So, like, it might not have been, like, those numbers that were reported for The Acolyte might have been everything having to do with The Acolyte and then a bunch of other stuff that they were trying to write down, and those were all getting bundled into those costs. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that. I've read that.
Todd, what do you got?
On a totally similar subject, Taika Waititi's Star Wars project has been shelved. Which
Jesus, I read through all those things.
Which basically means every film that they have announced attached to a director will not go into production. So they have either changed directors on every single announced project or shelved every single thing that they've announced.
There was another article that said Patty Jenkins was back on.
I know
I
that,
read
but
that
I'm saying
too.
that's you.
I don't believe any.
I don't
of
believe
it.
that either.
It's
But
all
I'm saying, so why do you announce these things? I mean,
But they've kind of stopped announcing things.
well, they
if you
kind of
think
have
about
to
it.
at some point. At some point, the wolf isn't coming. The boy who cried wolf isn't. No one's listening. It's just.
Do you remember? I think it was going on 4 to 5 years ago now. There was that whole big laundry list of things that they announced, all the TV shows and everything. There was a Droids TV show that was announced that disappeared. Like, there's a whole bunch. It's not just all the movies. There's other stuff too
It's
that's
one thing
disappeared.
to go into the room, into the meeting room and pitch all this stuff, and if people say, "Yeah, that's a great idea," but when you're making public statements and you follow through on 20% of it, it's like, well,
Yeah, it's messy. It's totally messy. On a completely similar note, Bert the crocodile from Crocodile
Yes.
Dundee has died.
Oh,
hey, he had
He
a
was
good
90
freaking
years
run.
old.
He had a good freaking
That's a
run.
good run.
do you know?
90 years
I've
old.
probably told you this before. My first official date with Maria was to see Crocodile Dundee.
I thought you were going to say your first date was with Bert the crocodile. Okay.
No, our very first actual date was to go see that movie in the theater.
There you
Good guy.
go. Well, you guys should mourn his loss, but it's a good run. I think it's an excellent run for a crocodile. I don't know how long
He
they live.
survived most of the cast of that movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
At least most of the embarrassment of
Yeah.
the second one.
Yep.
That guy's still alive, I think. Isn't
No,
it Paul Hogan?
no, he's not.
He's not.
No.
Mhm.
I think she is, though, right? The
Yeah,
actress.
somebody else from that
Was
died
it
recently, too.
Kozłowski? Why I know that, I don't know. They got married or something in real life.
They did get married.
It
in
did
real
not
life.
last.
Linda Kozlowski.
Yep.
While we're waiting, there's supposedly a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang
Wait a minute.
remake.
According
in
to the
works.
internet, Paul Hogan is still alive.
Is he?
I thought so.
He's 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just his career that's dead.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
still
Linda
big in Australia.
Kozlowski was married to him until 2014.
Okay.
But she's 66.
Interesting.
Wow.
There you go.
Anyway, so Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I could see that warranting a remake.
I can't.
When did you last watch that?
I mean, it wasn't great, which means maybe they can make a better one.
When did you last watch it?
A year ago?
I think I saw it like 3 years ago.
I think all
Unless
I
it's
know
going to be like Fast and the Furious, nobody's going to.
the car is cool.
The car is cool, but
The guy who hates children is cool. And that's it. So
This is
let's
the
keep
Dave
those
Savant.
elements and have Dick Van Dyke have a cameo, and let's see what we come up with.
it's
'Cause it's not great.
I don't think you can get kids to care about that movie in this
I don't
day
think
and
you
age.
make it for kids.
there's
I
a
think you
lot
make
of
it
things
for-
from that era that kind of hold up. That does not. I got to say.
No, it doesn't. That's exactly the
That's
point.
what I'm saying.
That's why
it's like
it should have a remake.
It's not Mary Poppins. It's not Dr. Dolittle. It's not. It just feels and I think because it just
Have you ever read the book? I haven't. I'm wondering if the book is completely different. And if they did it like more true to the book, Ian Fleming book, it could be interesting.
We had Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory on last night just because it was on.
Also holds up.
Yeah, once they get to the Chocolate Factory.
But even the sort of, it's London, but is it London? Is it New
York?
York? They don't have English accents.
And I'm saying those kind of things.
It's a little lost in time, so
yes.
I think it's okay.
I forgot about the horrible song that Charlie's mom sings when he goes to see her at her horrible job.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it picks up steam when they get to the Chocolate Factory, but it's a little long.
I don't watch it because I don't know. I don't like that whole grandmother's scene. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If that movie was 5 minutes and then they were at the Chocolate Factory, it'd be perfect.
I can't watch it because the Oompa Loompa song gets stuck in my head. I just can't do it.
Love that part.
But Gene Wilder's great.
Oh my God,
he's
so sarcastic,
utterly brilliant, and yeah.
But anyway, I do think Chitty Chitty Bang, in the fact that it was not a great movie, but there were some cool elements, like Logan's Run. We love Logan's Run. It could have been done better. The effects are just horrible. It could be.
Do we happen to? Yeah, because that is. I will say the effects in that thing look so bad.
They're horrible.
And I can remember seeing it on a very small TV screen as a kid and thinking it looked cool. But yeah, watching it.
No.
Yeah. Even on
What's funny is that all the effects in Willy Wonka actually look okay, except for that flying elevator scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Well, again, it's
and even that's not horrible.
I don't know. I watched it last night, David.
Really? Maybe it is horrible.
Once they shoot out of the top of the building, it's really bad.
Yeah. But
interesting. So, do you know whether Ian Fleming wrote that as a book before it was? I mean, was it a book? I got to look that up. Find out when that was written. That just seems like a really odd thing.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole thing behind it is. What was it, 1968 or 9, I think.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I had the Corgi model. That's why it's a little special to me.
Yep.
That I do not have that still, which is odd.
Most of them are broken. So the little wings didn't hold up well.
Yeah, but something that done by the right person could be interesting. I don't know who that right person is. Anyway, Barry, you got any more random?
No.
Todd, any more random?
I'm good.
The only thing I had, Stranger Things wrapped filming.
Yep, I saw that.
Hopefully that's
just
out
in time
soon.
for the retirement party of the cast.
Yeah, exactly. Did you guys ever watch Violent Night? Well, Violent Night 2 is coming.
I haven't seen it, although it is something I feel like I would enjoy.
Me and Pam watched it maybe last year. We were looking for different odd Christmas movies. It's a little over the top in like violence and language, but David Harbour's Santa Claus, and he sort of has to rescue people. There's parts of it that are pretty good. With the idea of it's not really a comedy, but you kind of have to think of it as a comedy. But they're making another one, so I enjoyed that one. I meant to watch the Jack Black Christmas movie that came out this year.
See
where
that
he's
one.
Satan. I want to see that. Red One, I think we mentioned last week. I really liked it.
We're watching that tomorrow night on Christmas Eve.
I totally recommend it. It was a lot of fun.
I'm watching the new episode of Skeleton Crew, and I'm watching Red One. That's my
we're gonna
Christmas
find a
Eve.
movie to watch tomorrow night for Christmas Eve. We may even go back to what's the one from last year with Ryan Reynolds and the singing and stuff. That was actually pretty good. Spirited. Spirited.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, you should watch that.
Yeah?
You guys will like that.
All right,
Yeah,
maybe we'll do a double feature tomorrow night.
I just
it's
watched
fun.
the Guardians holiday special, which I think is going to be an
I haven't
annual
watched
thing.
it yet.
I love
I
it.
think
I watched it the
Christmas
other night.
isn't Christmas without Kevin Bacon being kidnapped.
Yeah.
The stuff between Mantis and Drax is just so
it's
good.
so
I haven't watched it again.
It's so good. It's that does hold on.
He throws her over the fence.
Yeah, and it's just
Excellent.
yeah, but it's just that's human trafficking. Yes, you stole the person. Yes, great stuff.
You know what else has great stuff? Fanboy Collectibles. I was waiting for the right word to come out. Up for pre-order, Hot Toys Batman and Robin from the George Clooney Batman and Robin. Those are cool figures.
They look great.
Nipples withstanding, but they do look great.
They do look
It'd
great.
be cool to have all the Batman. You know, if you had the display to have the Val Kilmer and the George
One of each
Clooney
would be
and,
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be really cool. But those look really good. There's a bunch of gargoyles things. I don't know what. There's a whole collection of sort of gargoyle-y things out there. If you're into gargoyles, check those out.
Listen, I know it's the holiday, it's the Christmas and Hanukkah season, but if you go a different way and you celebrate something else, they've got a floral pentagram in stock right now that
There
you
you
can
go.
buy.
Yep.
Satan needs some
They don't
love,
discriminate.
too. No, not at all. Clone Wars Wolf is out. I guess they're going through all those.
I think they're doing all the Clone Commanders. Yeah, it looks
all
really
the Clone
good.
Commanders Wolf, so he's out. But there's Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and Hasbro and Kotobukiya and everything you need. It's too late to order anything for Christmas because as you listen to this, it's past, or Hanukkah because that's the same day. That's past. But you know, you get some money, you need something, you know where to go.
Grandma or
Fanboy
Aunt
Collectibles.
Betty sent you some money for the holidays. This is where you go
Yeah.
spend it.
Exactly. That's the place. So check them out at fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe sent you. Okie dokie. So Superman trailer. Barry claims not to be a big Superman guy, which is, I mean,
like I told my friend Mike that we were texting the other night about the trailer. I've always been more of a Marvel guy. And that holds true with Batman, Superman. Like I've always enjoyed them, but I was always more into the Marvel characters. So I feel less like I know a lot of people were very upset that the last incarnation of Superman was deviated from sort of the traditional version. It didn't bother me as much because I'm not as invested.
I've always loved Batman for sure, and I have Superman. Back to the television show, right? George Reeves'
Yes.
TV show.
Yep.
And I always watched
then-
that as a kid in reruns, obviously,
Yeah.
and enjoyed it. But
And the Superman movie was important to me, and I think incredibly important to movies, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's still.
It
I
was
think
proof of concept
people.
for something that has continued to be used over and over and over again. So
Yeah, I agree.
well, and it really was the rebirth of the modern superhero movie.
Yeah,
right?
someone
it
was
was
just
the-
saying
it
it's the
was
most
the-
important superhero movie
it
made.
wasn't even a rebirth. Everything prior to that had been kid focused. They were serials essentially. It'd been kid focused and very low budget. And what they did with this film was they kicked it up. They made it. They didn't go. There are some kind of campy elements to it, but they played it a lot straighter than they had previously, and it was definitely not. It wasn't a TV show that they put in the theaters as they did with Superman versus the Mole Man, and it wasn't like the serials from the the 40s. It was a huge production, and with a huge amount of marketing behind it too. I mean, the tagline "You'll believe a man can fly" basically comes down to just basically saying we did this good a job with it. It's very, very. I mean, it just the tagline itself is breaking the fourth wall. It's
well, in 1978, right, like the year after Star Wars, if they had put out a movie about a flying superhero that didn't look realistic enough, it wouldn't have worked.
It would have been a joke, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
They did exactly what needed to be done with that at the time. No one had spent that kind of money on a superhero movie at all. So, yeah, I love that movie. I think it still holds up. We'll get into that more.
I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen that from beginning to end in ages.
Okay, it's a movie of its era in that obviously the fashions are going to be from the 70s. It's a little slower paced, obviously, than what we're used to today, but I think it totally holds up in terms of what they look to accomplish.
If you look at it in the context of its era, I think it's an extremely good film. And it's everything that it is one of these Citizen Kane kind of things where you see it and you're kind of like, oh yeah, everybody's done this. They really did this first. Everything that's all the patterns established for superhero films that we see, and they're still doing a lot of these kind of same things over and over again. This was the first time it happened.
Yeah, it was, it had serious stuff. It had comedy. It had good character development. You got to know Clark and Superman, not to mention the villains and Lois. It really did a good. Richard Donner did a great job. And had that movie not delivered or was just hacky, we may not be sitting here today.
My parents might have still had me. But
I'm saying on this thing, we may not have had the superhero elements.
It's true. No, it's
that
true.
We have.
It's true, and I agree entirely. And
because really, the next thing is Batman, which is 11 years later. But
and I was thinking about this. If you look at these
of trying to wring more dollars out of this, okay, and keep going back to the well, and with less money each time, and with less success each time.
See, and that's what I was just about to say is I was thinking about this, just thinking about the 4 Superman movies that they made in between 78 and 87. It's almost like Planet of the Apes. Like,
there's no question. Yeah.
The second movie was still good, but then the third and fourth, it was like on a fraction of the budget.
I will not watch the third and fourth.
Okay, you get Gene Hackman to be your bad guy. Okay? And then...
That's another really good point about that. To have... Now, we're not talking Gene Hackman of 10 years ago. We're talking Gene Hackman of
Academy
French
Award
Connection.
winner Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right. And then you work your way down the line and you're who are you getting? It's like it's towards the end of that run. It just was it Robert Vaughn was in one of them, I think.
Yeah.
So
but even like putting Richard Pryor in.
But that's like, that again. That's like they were struggling for gimmicks, and
it got more gimmicky as it went. And I have not I said I watched Superman 1 and 2 this week. I haven't seen 3 and 4 since whenever I saw them, whether it was in the movies or probably on VHS. There's no need to see them again.
So
I'm just looking this up on IMDb. Mario Puzo provided the original stories for the first 2 Superman movies. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I watched Superman and Superman Returns, and
interesting.
And I will tell you, if you watch Superman 1, Superman 2, which like I said, I watched not that long ago, and Superman Returns. You can totally wash out which is how that movie was.
That's what they designed.
And it totally obliterates the third one and fourth ones from your memories. And it's really not bad. It's actually, I like that film. I mean, I saw it in the theaters. It's a better movie than people give credit for.
I remember it being good.
And if they didn't Speedo-ize the trunks, I think people would have less problems with it. I think Brandon Routh did a great job, but I think the best thing he did in there was playing Clark Kent. I
feel like that movie's not necessary. I don't know.
He's again though necessary only in that it just scrubs the other 2 off the page.
Oh, I've scrubbed those.
But like I said, his Clark Kent is an absolute tribute to Christopher Reeves, and they do a great job with it.
Yeah. I remember that, and it was serious, and it had an interesting storyline. And is Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor?
Kevin Spacey was, yes. Yeah,
that's tough.
Still works.
That's a tough choice.
It's okay to enjoy Kevin Spacey's performances in the context of the time that those movies were made.
And when he's a bad guy, it's fine. It's just if you're trying to watch something where he's a sympathetic character, it just doesn't work.
I won't let them take away Swimming with Sharks. I love that movie too much.
He deserves
he's a bad guy in that movie.
But
okay, interesting. So I found I literally just watched Superman 2 today. They really started introducing some of the hacky stuff in there, which there were some cool elements. I liked
which version did you watch? Did you watch the Donner cut or did you watch the original?
No, I watched whatever was on Max because I was doing
Because I remember
wrapping
they
stuff.
released that Richard Donner cut, and I remember
Of 2?
Yeah, because if you remember, they took Superman 2 away from him.
Yeah.
At the end, and somebody else came in and finished it and
Oh,
edited
that'd be
it.
interesting. I almost would like to see that. Maybe I'll watch
And
that.
I remember we talked about this years ago because I think
Is there a Donner cut for 1 also, or no?
No.
I think 1 is
The Donner cut. I'm not sure I've seen that. I need
Why
to
would they
see
take
that
it away from
because
him?
I have problems.
sure I
I have
own
problems
that on
with 2
Blu-ray.
also.
You meant, yeah, I do remember us talking about it at one point, but there is definitely some hacky stuff. There was some cool stuff, especially at the time, whether comic book accurate or not. There were, all these sort of different Superman powers that he could be invisible and take that S off. I remember taking that S off his chest and throwing it at a guy. I thought that was cool stuff.
Okay, so this is where having an app comes in handy. I actually have a Blu-ray that has Superman 1, Superman 2, the Donner cut, and Superman Returns, a triple feature in one DVD box set.
DVD or Blu-ray?
Blu-ray.
I'm telling you, you could watch those 3 films together. It like I said.
Wait, what's in it again?
It's Superman the movie, Superman 2, the Donner cut, and Superman Returns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Now I need to dig that out.
It is a better film than you remember. It really is.
I don't think it's bad. I just don't know where it fits in the need for it. But there's definitely...
If they would have continued, if they would have used that as a jumping off point, it could have actually been more important. But the fact that they didn't...
I guess that was
it didn't set the world
yeah.
on fire. And So I think it was what it was.
But 2, I remember as a kid liking 2 a lot. Again, and there's this whole scene, spoilers, when he's fighting Zod and the other 2, and they're making all this wind and people's wigs are falling off. There's a lot of not stupid stuff that.
It's beneath the Planet Apes.
It's a little hokey, but it's okay. Before, I guess we'll do this before we get into it. Then I watched The Man of Steel, which we know we've had discussions with, and I've seen it a few times, and I think I like it a lot until Zod's like, we're going to reconfigure the planet to be the new Krypton and do whatever, and then there's an hour of destruction.
Yeah. Yep.
It's almost like there's a freaking axe that comes down and is like, this is a good movie and this is ridiculous. Yeah. And that's why fucking Snyder sucks. He just needs to have massive destruction it's ridiculous.
I've said this a couple times that I think the timing of this movie, what year was this?
2013.
Yeah, 2013.
And we talked about it at the time. It's only 10 years since 9/11.
And I'm telling you,
and it was still too fresh.
Like I said, if you look at what they did in Avengers, they were so smart because they'd have pieces knocked off the tops of the building, and the people would fly down and catch them. So before they crush people, okay. But you never had those films of shots of panicked people running in the street and buildings collapsing behind them. And I'm telling you, it was too evocative. It really was. It was too realistic compared to the film we had seen of that day. And I think it just,
I don't disagree with that.
No, but
and
I'm saying
I know we've had this
I think
discussion, but
it's like it takes you out of an enjoyable experience. Whether you recognize
because it was an interesting,
whether it's subliminal
non-linear,
or whether it's conscious, you're still like, it's a different kind of thing entirely.
But
it was a non-linear take on it.
If you separate it from that, which some people can and some people can't, I get that. But when I watch Man of Steel, I don't immediately connect it to 9/11, and I find it. I can enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And I've always liked
but
that
not
movie.
even the 9/11. It's just
you guys
like
have made fun of me for that for 10 years, but
it's like too much. It's just too much destruction, even for a movie. Like I don't get, and the whole plot line of I'm going to reconfigure the Earth and change everyone into Kryptonians, that's just stupid. Yeah. But I did like the first half of it was good because I liked how it wasn't the same story, and it was a little non-linear, and it made more sense of, sort of Clark disappearing before he really and then the whole Lois Lane aspect of it. I enjoyed all that, but I think he's like, oh, there's not enough destruction. Let's just kill everybody. Like,
well, but that's a Zack Snyderism that he just can't help himself.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've been so. We'll get to the trailer, and you see a ton of stuff in the trailer about people talking about the trailer, and then I've been reading some of the comments, and there are people who hate the new trailer, and then there are people who absolutely love it.
It
feels
bizarre,
like, and I just rewatched it just before
no one who is indifferent to this thing.
No one's going to write about
but what
it.
I'm saying, people are so strongly divided on this, and if you go down and you read the comments on some of these things, which I have, no one's saying, "Oh, it's fine." I'm not. I'm on the fence. Whatever. It's like hate it,
but
or
to
so
me,
excited.
if the people don't like it are the hardcore Zack Snyder fans. It is literally almost like Trump and Democrats.
But it almost feels like, and I just rewatched it just before we started recording. You actually don't see all that much in the trailer.
Oh, you see a ton in that trailer.
Oh my God!
It is so
I've
packed.
watched it
It's like
5 or 6 times. I get almost crying when I watch it. It's awesome. I think it's going to be awesome.
So and we don't have to break this down scene by scene because that would take a month. But to take the most powerful being in the universe and start at a moment of absolute vulnerability, okay, like something terrible has happened to him, and like for him to just like hit the ground like that and be, something basically happened, and he was trying to get home. He was trying to get back to the fortress, very probably, and he couldn't even make it, or something knocked him out of the sky. But like you said,
home in that context is the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and that's why Krypto was so close. But just that, and again, there's all these things, these elements of Superman that we know, and you don't have to explain who he is. You don't have to tell his origin story. That's all part of.
And they start this. They think, Todd, where do you start? Where's the best place to start a movie?
You throw away the first 12 pages and you start.
And you start in the middle, and that's where they're starting here, which is awesome.
And like I said, I think it's great. Okay, his Clark Kent hair is goofy as hell. Okay,
but that's makes it more realistic.
It makes him look a lot less like Superman.
But you want to know something? 28-year-old kids have that freaking hair.
I know.
These days.
Believe me, 16-year-old kids have that hair. But I'm saying it's called the ice cream cone. By the way, that's what they call it. Okay.
I call it the beaker.
No, it's the ice cream cone. That's
there's kids at work who have like. I'm like, who's
that is the
even
ice cream cone
that
cut?
guy
It's
beaker?
kind of a bulb on top and then short on the sides. So, anyways, the other heroes in there. Okay,
you see it, but that's the thing. You see little snippets of everything.
Okay,
Green Lantern,
Mr. Terrific,
Hawkgirl, Mr.
Like right off the
Terrific.
page. Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. I mean, why do you go with douchebag Green Lantern?
You go
it's
with
brilliant.
the goofy look.
That's brilliant.
That's a Nathan Fillion.
But
choice,
it's like
I bet.
you get Hawkgirl in there. Okay, you see him with the robot, which is Kalex.
Yeah.
I had no idea. See, this is part of it for me. Is I don't know who half of these people are. That's maybe why I felt like
you don't need to. And I don't know who Mr. Terrific is.
There's a lot of story coming at you.
There's a lot of heroes in this.
Right, but hang on. Let me ask you a question about that, because we've said this. Yeah. We've had this complaint about other movies. How many characters is too many characters to cram into a movie?
I'll tell you that. Here's let me. So you don't know who any of those people are. This trailer gave you a little snippet of like, okay, there's a bunch of people. You don't need to know anymore. You think James Gunn's going to leave you hanging with a dozen characters? No way. No one can do it better than him.
Exactly. They will all be
will develop every character, and you'll know exactly what their deal is.
Here's the other thing that this tells us that you get from this, particularly the fact that there's other heroes established in this world, okay, is this is not an origin story. Okay?
Nope, it's not.
We're starting mid-career Superman. He's still young, but this is mid-career. This is Superman who's already been on the scene. And he's now come up against something, probably Lex Luthor, okay?
Maybe that being giant kaiju.
It could absolutely
thing.
be too. But I'm saying something. He's gotten knocked back. Krypto, awesome.
Let me tell you something.
Awesome.
That's the best part. The Krypto, every second of Krypto on that screen with the whistling, and he comes running, and it's just amazing. And there's going to be a lot of Krypto in this movie.
I hope there is.
I love it.
And it's funny. It's there are 80 plus years of Superman history that they can draw from, and there's a lot of different things in this that we've seen. But if you want to go back and read something, find John, and it's collected, John Byrne's Man of Steel from 1986. Okay, because in 1986 they gave him, he was right off X-Men. They gave him a clean sheet of paper. He could redefine Superman any way he wanted. And a lot of the things that we know Superman to be now come from that, including Calyx, the robot that that maintains the Fortress of Solitude. He reintroduced Krypto. He gave him living parents, okay, which in the original story, Clark's parents died before he left for Metropolis, and he was an orphan. A lot of things like this that carry through. But this feels like this. The other thing to read is Superman for All Seasons, which is a short graphic novel, and it's brilliant. And those two things, I think.
I don't think you'll need to.
No, you don't. But I'm saying if you haven't
I
read
think they're
going to
develop these characters.
Those are two kind of entry level Superman things that give you all the world that you need here. And then you're going to meet some new characters. One of which is
and we've seen enough Superman to know enough about the background. That you don't need the origin story again, and we're not getting it, which is good. I'm not excited. I don't want to give the wrong impression. I think the trailer looks great. I'm curious to see how this movie turns out, and I'll go see it. And it's not like I'm anti seeing it. I didn't get the same.
Really?
Excitement.
I don't know who half those
got.
characters are either. Maybe because I've seen Titans. I knew Hawkgirl.
I recognized Hawkgirl.
I knew
and I know
Mr.
obviously
Terrific
that when you see that
somewhere.
Lantern emblem, I know that that's Green Lantern. Although that haircut, I would never have known that was Green Lantern.
He's a Green Lantern. He's one of the alternate Green Lanterns for Earth, and he is a jerk. Okay.
He looks like one of the characters from Dumb and Dumber with that haircut.
He does. And
if they just released the Krypto part, I'm fine. I thought that was amazing. And knowing there's no one out there who does non-human characters better than James Gunn.
Yes.
He is going to make Krypto the Rocket or the Groot.
And in his hands,
movie.
I have a lot of faith that this will be really good.
And
I will say that this Lois Lane looks like a very modern take on Lois Lane.
Oh, yeah. I think she looks great as Lois Lane. But we've only had modern takes of Lois Lane, right? Amy Adams, what's her face from the television one?
And I never thought Amy Adams worked for me as Lois Lane.
I liked her as Lois
because
Lane.
she was a redhead, and Lois Lane I always thought was a brunette. But
Terry Hatcher, even in that show, was a good Lois Lane.
I never watched Smallville.
I didn't either, but
I never watched any of those shows.
Smallville Lois Lane. Is there a Lois Lane? Smallville Lois Lane's a blonde.
No.
Sort of.
No, she wasn't.
Erica Durant's blonde-ish.
She highlights. I mean,
brunette.
But,
super cute.
But then you guys have decades invested in all these other Superman shows. I never got into any of that stuff. So.
I'm going to say this is going to be the best movie in 2025.
Wow.
With a lot of good stuff supposedly coming out. I trust James Gunn. He's going to do what he needs to do. They had me at the whistle.
I rewatched Guardians 1 a week or so ago. That movie is so freaking good. And if he's going to do something like that, and I watched the first episode of Creature Commandos, it's great. James Gunn is a great writer. So
the 4 seconds of Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is enough to wipe away the horrific Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. Did you see the article that came out this week
where he's saying it hurt his career?
It really hurt his career.
It hurt his career because you suck.
Yeah,
That's why.
So I read something many, many years ago that said the secret to getting Superman and Batman correct, okay, is to recognize Superman is Clark Kent's alter ego, okay, and Bruce Wayne is Batman's alter ego. That Clark
sense.
Kent is really who he is, okay, and Superman is who he has to be to do what he has to do.
That's what James Gunn is sort of
And
talking
that's what I'm
about.
saying. And Batman is the reverse. Batman is who he is, and Bruce Wayne is who he has to, the illusion that he has to maintain in order to.
He's reluctant to be Bruce
to
Wayne,
enable
and
him
they
to be
did
Batman.
that well in
Clark
the
Kent
Nolan.
can't stand by and not do what he needs to do.
He wishes he could be Clark Kent all the
Oh,
time,
absolutely.
but he can't be.
Yes, he would in a heartbeat.
And you got that out of a lot.
You get
of
a lot of it, but
movies.
I'm saying that's when they get it right. Okay.
Yeah.
When Superman is the reluctant, presence that he has no choice but to do because of the values instilled in him, and again, I said Bruce Wayne is the made up thing. It's like Clark Kent's real, Bruce Wayne's made up.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the suit? I know there's a lot being talked about with the suit. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Looks fine to me, but what the hell do I know?
It's funny. When I first saw the pictures, I'm like, it doesn't fit great. And then I read an article, and it's a little bit of a knock to Snyder. He's like, James Gunn's like, the suit should not look like a wet T-shirt. It's just, why would anyone have something incredibly skin tight? So it doesn't fit that way.
Yeah.
I like the shorts. I'm fine with it. It's modern and retro at the same time. I don't have a problem with it.
What I read today was that the actor actually suggested it to James Gunn that he wanted it that way.
Yeah. I think you need the trunks. How do you like the suit? Don't like the
I
suit?
like this suit. I think, making the trunks smaller didn't work in Superman Returns.
It's a hard place where to put those
it's awkward.
things.
And doing away with them does not work because of the heritage of that costume. So
Yeah, these look a little big, and somebody said like he wants to wear an outfit where children aren't afraid of him and they think he looks like a professional wrestler. I don't know if that was true. It was attributed to James Gunn, but I don't know. I think the trunks could be smaller, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
And I get the wet. Like I said, I watched Man of Steel. It's like it looks like a fake rubber suit,
Like it's painted on, right?
Yeah, but I think there's a muscle suit under that, and Henry Cavill does not need a muscle suit.
Yeah, I also think that it's supposed to look like alien material too. I don't think this is something that he went to he went to
Edna from
exactly.
Incredibles.
That would be cool.
So I don't suppose you guys watched the What If episode I told you to watch?
Not yet.
Okay, so
I forgot about
there's a What If episode called What If Happy Hogan Saves Christmas, and I'll tell you it's very diehard, but they're going through Avengers Mansion, Avengers Tower, and at one point they go into the costume room and there's like this huge thing that says like leather spandex. It's basically like these bolts of material, and it's just like
Oh, that's funny. Someone
leather
mentioned that.
spandex. It's an organic material, and it's just like
That's funny.
Yeah, this should, in one. I'm trying to think. In the way back, someone made the costume, but it should be an alien fabric. I mean, otherwise it just wouldn't last. It's got to be an alien fabric. Anyway, I'm super excited. I knew it was coming. I was looking forward to it, but this trailer did exactly what it needed to do for me. I'm very excited. The Krypto thing is just awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's, like I said, I think, we know who Lex is, we know Clark is, we know Superman is, we know who Lois is. It's now you just need to tell a good story. You need to tell a compelling story. And like I said, we know shit goes badly for him. we know looking at this thing that this is not going to be, that at some point things are going to go south, and that's where
that's
it starts.
inherently been part of the problem with Superman, right? Is that when you're invincible,
that is the Superman problem. Is that it's like that when you start out invincible, you gotta, he can do anything. You can solve anything. It's like the technology problem when you set Star Trek in the 30th century. They've got to have, he's got to have a weakness. He's got to have a vulnerability. And I got to wonder whether, when Lex is waving around a single action revolver, like whether there's kryptonite bullets in there or what's going on. But
I wonder if he summoned up that freaking kaiju and with some kind of. He says he's like a sorcerer. That's what Nicholas Holt said.
But I think
he's
it's
more of a scientist.
He did, because he was saying, but it's also.
I wonder if he brought back some kind of kryptonite freaking.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's
Godzilla.
also like the Arthur C. Clarke quote: "Is any technically advanced science is indistinguishable. Any scientifically advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Any significantly advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." So, it may be that he's just that far ahead of everybody else. But one of Superman's weaknesses is magic. So, maybe hires mages.
Well, we're only 7 months away from finding out all of this.
I'm excited by this. I watched it. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but whenever I see Krypto, I'm happy. When he showed up in Titans, it was like, yeah.
You just want more out of him.
I'm more excited for it now, having talked to you guys about it, than I was watching the trailer.
I'm telling you.
And it's supposedly a lot. And it's funny. There's a quote from James Gunn that he said something like, "There's more to Krypto in this movie, and Krypto isn't always a very good boy," which means something. It could mean he just kills a bunch of people.
Which would be very easy. Okay, let me tell you. A dog that basically could tear your limbs off.
And flies and has a laser vision.
That's right. I forgot about the laser eyes, yeah.
Oh, God, did you see the meme? So the essence of the Krypto scene is Superman's hurt, he whistles, calls Krypto, Krypto comes running, and he pulls him away. There's one where Superman's hurt, he goes, pss, 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 pss. Next frame is you see a cat. Next frame is Superman's skeleton, because the cat's not coming to help you. And you just lay there and die. What if there's Streaky?
I was going to say, yeah, Streaky wouldn't help.
Yeah, cats are like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
That's funny. So exciting. I'm very excited. I know my new job. I'm going to start a puppy mill of fluffy, medium-sized dogs, white dogs, because everyone's going to want them.
With red capes.
What do you think that dog
Everyone's going to want them. Well, they were saying that it may all be CG.
Okay.
And if you look really close, there's a close-up of him, it's really good. They've come a long way with fur and stuff, but who knows? I wonder if may not be your real dog on the set at all.
So that could be your next job, genetically engineering dogs that look like Krypto, because that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So the internet is saying that it looks like a terrier mutt.
Yeah, it's big, though. It's got to be
medium sized.
If that's a terrier mutt, that was my first thought, Barry. If that's a terrier mutt, that's a terrier that bred with something.
There's bigger terriers.
What's that?
There's bigger terriers.
Not built like that dog, though. Okay, the bigger terriers are different looking animals.
We had a 45-pound wire hair terrier that was, about that size. Airedale is a terrier.
Oh, well,
it's like 60, 70 pounds.
It also says that James Gunn modeled Krypto after his own dog, Ozu. OZU.
Yeah, he adopted a dog that sort of has that ear look. But I'm gonna get myself a white poodle, an Airedale, and then and then radiation, and start making these dogs.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah. Next
Yeah,
time we
Dave,
see-
Dave was looking
next
for
time
a
we
next
see
chapter.
Dave-
Now he
next
has
time we
one.
see Dave, he's extensively bandaged and bald. We'll know things did not go well. It's like missing several digits and bald. We'll know
Yeah.
the experiment did not go well.
Exactly. But anyway, let us know what you think. I don't know. I think the hardcore Snyder fans hate it.
Well,
I don't know.
that we all know, and they have to accept Snyderverse is dead and gone. So
It is dead and gone.
it's
And-
not
and
like they
again,
were going to bury these characters and never do.
But you have Rebel Moon. Just be happy you have Rebel Moon.
Part 1 and 2 and the director's cut.
And the director's cut. I like both Superman and Batman, and I've read a lot of both, far more Batman. I think they need to be polar opposites. And I think if you, as I said many times in Man of Steel, if you try to darken up Superman, it does not work. And
But both their mothers have the same name.
Martha, yeah, it's a,
So-
yeah,
So that's going to stop me from killing you.
exactly.
And I like Henry Cavill. I thought he was good. It was. I like him, whether he was written well or not. That's all another story. But
No.
anyway, all right.
Batman
moving
v
on.
Superman, the director's cut, worth a watch. Just throwing it out there.
I don't mind some of that. There is some horribleness of it.
Yeah, I'll say it for the last time, and I'll never say it again on the show. The director's cuts smoothed out some of the rough edges on that movie.
It certainly didn't do it for Justice League, though.
No, I'm not saying it
just
did.
I haven't seen
You know,
it, but yeah,
I might break down and watch that. I got to say, I have not. I think I've seen that movie once.
It doesn't
seen that a
fix
few
it completely, but it smooths out a lot of the rough edges, and I thought it was a much better
Did
movie.
they extend the Wonder Woman portion at all? Because that would be enough right there. Because I think basically that is
where is that?
that is the
that you have to
redeeming
buy?
thing in the entire
Or is it
movie
available
to me.
somewhere?
It might be on Max. I'm not sure, Dave. I have it. If you want me, I can bring it when I see you this weekend.
Okay.
If you want to borrow it?
I do want to watch the Donner cut of 2 because 2 is not.
I can bring that and drop it with you
Great.
too if you want.
Yeah, all right,
I
we'll
want to see
figure
that as well.
out. Anyway, enough of our own things. Some of us are gonna do what's in the box. Some of us are gonna do a pick, RJ pick. So Barry, we're eagerly waiting to see what you bought that both Todd and I bought for you.
Neither of you bought this for me, and you can say you did, but I know you didn't. So,
But Barry, what's in the box?
okay, it was more of an envelope than a box. But
Okay.
so back in June, there was an auction. Alex Van Halen auctioned off his entire
about it.
personal belongings of
I didn't know that.
drums and musical gear and drumsticks and backstage passes and all the stuff that
Guitar
he had
pick.
in his warehouse. What was that?
Guitar pick.
He might. I don't know if he had any guitar
Oh, okay.
picks. He was a
That
drummer.
was my guess.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So there was, and both Spina and I tried to bid on stuff, and neither of us got anything.
Did it all go for a decent money?
It did, but part of the problem was he was doing it more like a how do I get rid of all this stuff and less of a how do I break it out. So like as an example, he had boxes of backstage passes from multiple tours that he sold in boxes of passes rather than like
he didn't want it. Yeah.
so he
What
wasn't
company
looking to
did it?
spread the love. He just wanted to get rid of it. So flash forward to about 3 weeks ago, I get an email from VanHalenShop.com, which is a website I've bought stuff from.
Oh.
And I don't know if they bought stuff in the auction with the intention of parting it out or if they got
That's smart.
stuff separately from because they're tied into the Van Halen camp. And they listed a bunch of Van Halen backstage passes for sale at what I thought was incredibly reasonable prices. So I went through and I was looking and I'm like, do I really need any of these? And of course I didn't need any of them. But then I saw they had a backstage pass from the 1984 tour for $35. So I really couldn't pass that up. And that was cool.
Oh, so it doesn't say like where it was.
This one doesn't, no. But then I saw both of these. These are VIP backstage passes from the 2012 tour, both shows at Madison Square Garden. I attended both of these concerts.
There you go.
And I said, I got to get those. So I got those, and I pulled out my ticket stubs from those two shows, and I'm going to
that's
figure
neat.
out
That
a
would
way
be neat to frame those
to
together.
frame those two passes.
I know a guy who does displays.
I know you do. So yeah, I've got these two VIP passes from shows I was at, and these were also $35 a piece. I mean, for
Did they have any from 1979 at the Asbury Park Paramount
They
Theater?
did not. Unfortunately, it was
That's
mostly
the first one I went to see.
the last 10 or 15 years. He had a bunch
Oh.
of different passes from a bunch of different cities and tours. But so for $35 a piece, I couldn't
That's
pass
awesome,
those up.
Barry.
I felt
great.
confident that nobody was buying those for me for Christmas.
When Dave, in his free time now, perfects a reliable means of time travel, you could probably hook up with some groupies.
Yeah.
And
they even came with
here's-
lanyards to
Look at
to go
that.
with
Wow.
the backstage passes. So yeah, I'm for under $100. I got 3.
Here's the ticket I bought you. And no, I don't have that. I have my KISS ticket that Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
Oh, was it December 15th, 1977? $8.50.
Gotta love that.
$8.50.
So as an add-on to what I just showed you, for my son, my oldest son Brandon, for Christmas, he loves hot sauce. He's also a Van Halen fan. So I went on Michael Anthony's website. Michael Anthony has his own brand of hot sauce. And they were selling, you can buy a signed bottle of Michael Anthony's hot sauce, and he'll send you an unsigned bottle because he knows you're not going to want to open the signed one. So it was like,
oh, really?
Buy one, get one free. You got a signed one and an unsigned one. So I'm giving Brandon the unsigned one as a Christmas gift, and I'm going to keep the signed one. And in the package that just came today, attached to the receipt, he taped one of his guitar picks from his most recent tour.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that was a cool added bonus. I had no idea it was coming. So
That did that VanHalen.com or whatever only have backstage passes, or did they have other stuff?
that was all they. Well, they had some drum heads that were made for Alex, but they weren't signed or anything. But they were made for Alex Van Halen's drums that
Sorry, making
were
a lot of
unused, and then they had the backstage passes.
They didn't have that. I'm curious. Drumsticks would be cool because most of those are personalized.
And actually that's what I was bidding on in the auction was stage used drumsticks was what I was trying to get, but they went for a lot of money.
Were they individuals or were they like bundles?
They had individuals, and then they also had bundles of unused ones, like 100 unused sticks. So hopefully somebody bought that and is at some point going to part those out because those would be cool. They had his name on them and everything, but the stage used ones that were all chewed up looked really cool.
I have an Eric Carr one it's all chewed up.
Yeah.
And cracked. So a friend of mine, this is back in college, used to like work at that place on 8th Street where they did recording. And I have a guitar pick, Paul Stanley guitar pick, and an Eric Carr drumstick.
That's cool.
That'd be cool to have Alex Van Halen.
Yeah,
one.
they had Alex Van Halen signed drum heads in the auction, and those went for crazy amounts of money. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's what I have. So I'm going to go to
Cool.
Todd since he's got a what's in the box, and then we'll
Sure.
go to you, Dave.
So I have, I just got a big box from Fanboy Collectible. I have a big box from Fanboy Collectibles. A number of things I had in pre-order, including 3 EX06 figures, and this is the first of them. And this is Strange New World Spock. So Ethan Peck Spock. Really happy with this. I think this is great. It's my 4th Spock. I will have 5 soon. I'll keep buying all the Spocks they make. This figure looks, I mentioned you guys before the show, I think this figure looks much better than the prototype. They did a really good job on the paint ops. The expression's better than the prototype. Might have just been bad pictures. The uniform fits better. It was a little baggy in the pictures. I'm super pleased with it, and good detail on everything. Came with the prerequisite 9 hands. They
come with a phaser.
What's that? A hand phaser.
Come with a phaser.
A rifle phaser. Tricorder. Communicator. The base. Oh, the base is cool. It looks like a transporter pad.
Oh, that's cool.
And Yeah. I gotta say, so I have Pike ordered also. I'm trying to think. I'd probably order a couple more of these characters. I was going to just do captains and first officers kind of thing, and I've already blown that. So
yeah, I'm trying to show a lot of restraint with the Exo-6 stuff and just get the captains and then the other like odd figures. Like I know you got the Klingon from Star Trek 3. I've looked at that 4 times and almost
so
pulled the
iconic
trigger on
though.
it.
If you're going to have one Klingon, that just seems like the
that's a good. Really kind of
representative.
Bridges the gap across all.
But when I look
Klingons.
at that, then I'm like, and I know that the Christopher Plummer one's coming, and they would look really cool together, and then it just starts the whole thing.
If it's going to be one, it's going to be that one, and I think it's brilliant. I'm really looking forward to opening that. I think that's going to be great. I
might have to while it's still in stock at Fanboy. I might have to buy it.
It's that one. I think is going to be one of the ones that is most sought after once they dry up, and they dry up quickly. But they haven't announced others. I think I need to triumvirate. Like, we have Kirk, Spock, and McCoy from the original series. I think from Strange New Worlds, you need Pike, Spock, and number 1. I just think that would be cool.
Did they announce number 1?
No, they haven't yet, but they will.
But they will.
Interesting. Yeah.
They've run out of Voyager crew members, I think, and they're digging into DS9. I would bet we'll see. I bet we'll see number 1.
And they're starting to dip their toe in the water with Next Generation crew too now. So it'll happen.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Cool.
Yes.
So Dave,
all right.
What's your pick?
I'm doing a pick, which is a tool. So this is not it. This is called. There's a German tool company called Knipex. Everyone pronounces it different. Knipex. I do believe it's pronounced Knipex. So this is a 5-inch. They call this a 5-inch Cobra pliers. It's one of these, like all these EDC guys who talk about knives. They pick this because it's really small. You can fit it into a pack, and it works with when you have like the thing with the Leatherman always is if you need something to do with pliers, but you need like a screwdriver at the same time. It's all on the same thing. So this is a really good everyday carry kind of have in your truck or whatever. Little pliers. It's like the best little pliers made. Problem is these pliers are $30. So that's a lot. That's a real lot. And then just recently, and I got this off of one of the tested videos, Cobalt, which is a Lowe's brand, came out with these pliers, which are the exact same size. And the cool thing about both of these is they have this little mechanism, you can't say it, that opens the jaws, so all kinds of different sizes. This is really good if you need to hold on to. I
actually just got a plumber's wrench, a full-size one that has that same mechanism on it.
Yeah. So they came out with these. This operates the exact same way. So this is Cobalt at Lowe's. It looks well made. I haven't really used it too much. $30. This is $15 and comes with this.
Oh, wow.
So here's something that was only affordable or was only able to be gotten for a ridiculous price, but now here it is for basically $7.50. And I think it seems pretty good unless the metal just cracks, but it does the same thing. And this came with this other one, which I haven't really seen these. They call these... I think they call these wrench pliers or something, because if you see, they have flat jaws, and I'll post a picture of it, that, I can't, but it almost acts as a crescent wrench, because it's got these parallel flat jaws, and it's all these different sizes. I'm like, that's an interesting tool. I haven't seen that. So that's something if you don't have your adjustable pliers, you could use something like this, and this grips better because you could hold on to it. That's cool. Interesting. $15. They're at Lowe's. They're probably one of those holiday aisle specials.
Those are cool.
Yeah, these would be great for your bike. Perfectly, you fit in the back of your little bike bag or whatever. Because way better than not way better, but way cheaper than the Knipex. I have 3 Knipex type. I have a couple of cutters. There's only a handful of tools that's worth spending the money, but I would almost want to go to Germany just to buy all this stuff. at a better price. But
Well, those are like the God hand model snips that I got that were like $35 that are legitimately better than the $5 and $10 and $20 ones. But like same kind of thing.
Snips.
Like occasionally you got to splurge. I decided a couple weeks ago we had a plumbing issue that needed to be fixed in the house. And I'm like, I'm doing this myself. I know I'm capable of doing this. And I ended up not having a big enough wrench. So I had to go out and get the right size wrench. But once I had the right tool, I was able to do it myself.
So you got what, a big version of this?
Yeah.
Channel lock?
Yep.
Makes some, but Crescent makes some. There's a bunch of good ones.
I have good size wrenches, but the mouth wouldn't open up wide, and I needed something that went wider.
That is like the staple of plumbing stuff.
You want to have a
sort
good
of
pipe
channel
wrench.
lock.
I mean,
but now I have it.
Have a real actual pipe wrench. You don't want to use channel locks for a lot of those.
Well, that's the thing. I had channel locks that
channel locks is a brand.
Yeah.
You're thinking,
but I'm saying it's also channel locks are basically what people refer
you want
to
the
as
adjustable
those
jaws.
But I think of those as Kleenex. I think of that tool as channel locks, even though I realize that's a brand.
Everybody does. I would say if somebody says channel lock plier, that's what they're talking about. Even though channel lock makes every plier.
Yeah.
That was their kind of hallmark.
I use that a lot for a lot of different things. Yeah. That's a good, if I'm like, I got to go out to the pool and I don't know what I need, that's a good one to bring because it could do a lot of different things. So that's a good tool to have. But the Knipex version of that is like $80.
Yeah.
Like seriously, tough. But anyway, so that's sort of what's in the box and what's a pick. Go to this is definitely. I don't wonder if they'll still have this after Christmas because that's one of those like the end aisles and they got all the different tools and all the different good deals and stuff. I look through everything. I'm like, I don't need any of this stuff, but I always want to need something because there's always. And the big thing we talk about they made tiny toolboxes this year.
I saw those I reviewed on
Harbor
YouTube.
Freight made them.
Yeah,
you could not get them
because the Harbor Freight ones
them.
were they compared the Snap-on, the Harbor Freight, and another company.
Cobalt probably because they
said that the Harbor Freight one was the best value.
It was it was on sale for $10. Yeah. It's a toolbox, maybe the size of like a sneaker box, a shoe box.
3 drawers, and it actually had nice slides on the sides of the drawers.
Yeah, that'd be good to put something small in. I didn't need it, but I wanted one. And then at Lowe's, when I was there a couple times buying like extra Christmas lights, they had a bunch. They weren't on sale. They were $20, and all they had was pink. And I'm like, if they go on sale, I'll buy a pink one and I'll paint it. But I don't know what I need it for. But it could be good 3D printing tools.
I was just going to say for all your 3D printing tools, because I have
the Husky tool cabinet for that.
Yeah, but I have
But that was the thing. I saw that it was a big enough deal that they were reviewing and comparing them on YouTube.
It was all over YouTube. The Harbor Freight one was all over. So anyway, that's tool talk for today. Go. All right. Well, if you're listening to this after Christmas and Hanukkah, hopefully you had a good holiday. Have a safe New Year. Thank you again for everyone listening to us and reaching out and doing all kinds of stuff, and we certainly appreciate that.
2024 was an interesting year with a lot of challenges, but doing this every week with you guys made it better and more fun, and looking forward to 2025.
Yeah.
And doing this with you guys for another year.
Yep.
There you go. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.